What's up guys, this is Ryan with Freespirit Recreation. Today we're gonna walk you through Hub 6 XL. We're gonna show you setup, we're gonna show you all the features on this tent, basically everything that you need to know. So let's dive in. All right, well, we'll start by unzipping our bag here and we'll start removing some of the pieces that are inside. So what you'll find in here, you'll find your floor, your Rainfly, and then your tent poles and stakes. And make sure to check because a lot of this stuff will come out and you'll notice some of the poles and stakes, things like that, are rolled up inside of either the floor or the Rainfly itself. And then I know there is also a light strip that you will find rolled up, so just make sure you don't miss that. So now that we've just got our tent alone here, what I like to do is bear hug this thing out of here and set it down on basically the center of the tent. So if you see on this end, this is where you're gonna wanna set it down. This will be the central point of your tent. And so wherever you set it, more than likely that is gonna be where your tent will fall. So find out where you want your tent situated. Lay it down first. Make sure you've got enough room to work with. And now that we've got Hub 6 XL outside of the bag, we're gonna start splaying it out and we're gonna try to find the middle of the tent. So the middle of the tent on this is this big guy down here. And I'll show you what we're gonna do once we get this splayed out and how to make your life easier setting this tent up. We'll pull all these guys out. And what we wanna find here is, and I'll walk this around, you wanna find your door. So our door is right here. So what's gonna make this really, really easy and a lot quicker is if we just go into the door, into the inside of the tent and push up on the center roof. Then we can start pushing out the rest of our walls. Now you can see we've got this tent set up. And the reason I set it up like this the first time is because this is how you're gonna receive it. So all of these walls will be rolled down. So what you can do is you can fish this eyelet through the tri-layer wall. Because what you'll notice is when this is collapsed, it's gonna fall through. So what you're gonna wanna do is fish this guy out and then you'll be able to deploy those walls. So what I would recommend is, once you get this thing set up, these walls are completely removable. So what I would do is pull all these walls down, and whether you're gonna use these walls while the tent's in use or not, when you gotta pack this thing back down, remove your walls, roll them up separately, and put them in your bag so that next time when you go to set this thing up, it's as easy as that right there, and you don't have to try to find the loophole itself through the tri-layer walls. Let's talk about what comes in the tent inside of the bag. So we have two things here that are wrapped up. One of them is your Rainfly, and the other one is your floor. So what you'll do is you'll just unclip these buckles here, and you'll want to roll these out. So inside of your Rainfly here, you'll actually find your light for the back of the tent with your dimmable LED strip. And inside of your floor here, you'll find your stakes and tie downs, and then your tent poles for the front of the tent to create a structure. So we went to this iteration of a integrated door versus an entire wall that basically comes down and acts as the door. So we've gone to this door here, but what we need to do is create a structure. So we have 3 poles that will create that structure for you. Let's walk through how to install these poles on your Hub 6 XL. Once we get our poles out, we're gonna get them set up just like a standard tent pole. And we're gonna find our red tabs on the inside of our tent. And we'll place each end of your tent pole into those red tabs. And then once you get those red tabs fitted, you'll look for, there's 2 Velcro straps, one at the top and one at the bottom of each of these poles. And that's just to help keep this material from moving around or flapping around if there is any wind or any inclement weather. So let's talk about our stakes that are included with our bag, guideline, and the rest of our basically attachments to be able to secure this Hub 6 XL to the ground. We have a number of stakes, 2 different designs to be able to adapt in different situations. So what we include here is your standard stake to be able to adapt to most of your ground situations. And then a second threaded version, which will work if you need to get into harder ground or if you need to go into, say, the root of a tree or something else to be able to attach and secure your Hub 6XL. So we provide this extra guideline in the event that you need to stake down, which again, our corners are here. Each corner of the tent will have one of these heavier nylon straps with a metal attachment point. Now, if you do need additional length, that's why we supplied this guideline. So again, we just provide options depending on your unique situation. So everything's included to be able to help you out. All right, so we're on the outside of our Hub 6XL now, and our tent's all set up, our structure's created. Before we go on the inside and put our floor in, let's talk about the tri-layer walls on this tent. So the thing that you'll notice, if you're considering this tent versus our Hub 4 Double or our Hub 4 XL, you're gonna notice that this is the only tent that has removable tri-layer walls. And what I mean by that is the other two tents have roll-up walls, and the reason for that is space in the bag. So we wanna be able to remove these walls so that we have more space in the bag to work with, and that we're not condensing all of the weight on one end. With these walls, the one difference, or the second difference I should say, is the hooks on the top here. So these hooks are crucial because they hold your wall in place so that you can Velcro the rest of it all the way around. And so you've got two hooks on the top, and then you've got two hooks here on the bottom as well. So 4 hooks total, and once you remove those, you'll be able to take your wall off. Now again, this is different for everyone's application. If you were using this as, say, a large screen house, or say you were using this as an entertainment space, cooking in here and you're using it in the daytime, again, it all depends on your application, how you're using this. We include the walls as an insulation factor if you do need to use them, say it's in the winter, or if it's raining, or any of those things, which we'll talk through the Rainfly here in a minute. But these are completely weatherproof, waterproof tri-layer walls, and if these are on the tent itself, you're gonna have a lot more insulation factor, a lot more weatherproofing factor that's gonna be included. So we'll talk more about the Rainfly here in a bit, but just on these walls specifically, once you get them off, there's nothing else that you need to do. If you want to, there is a small strip of Velcro on the top of this flap. I would just tape that down here so that this piece isn't flapping around in the wind. We have all of our walls off of the Hub 6XL. So before we go inside and install the floor, I'm gonna talk about the integrated door here for a sec. So once you zip this up and open it, you can roll this out of the way to secure the door so that it's not just flapping around in the wind. And so you'll have 2 straps, one at the top here and another here at the bottom. So once those are secured, we can go inside and install our floor. So now we're gonna install our floor on the inside of the Hub 6XL. Again, you'll find it folded up with the rest of your equipment here. We just have Velcro basically at the bottom. And this Velcro has a strip on the tent itself, about 5 to 6 inches off of the ground to be able to keep you out of the elements. So on each corner of floor here, you'll notice where it marries with the tent, there's a loop. And that's basically just to create extra structure and security for the floor itself, so that in the event of any really strong wind or inclement weather, this thing stays attached and it stays secure. So basically we'll just start working our way around. Once we find one corner, make sure all your corners are pushed out. You can get into a situation where these corners will try to grab the ground, and that will minimize your ability to create a flat surface with this floor. And so once we get up to the front of the tent, it's really, really crucial that you push out the corners to be able to expand this as much as possible. That way you've got your Velcro laying flat and taking up as much real estate as it possibly can. And that's it. We've got our floor installed on our Hub 6XL. So the next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna install our Rainfly on the Hub 6XL. So once you get this unfolded, you'll notice there's a series of straps that run along the tent. Then this is where your stake down points are gonna be. So if you're looking for your front and your rear, This Rainfly has clear markings on the inside of where the door should be. And the backside's really easy to find because you're gonna see your stovepipe cover. So one way to identify the front is you wanna find, there's a zipper. So here's one zipper here. We have two zippers that are included to basically allow you to still pass through the front of your tent. So once you find one of those, you'll find these little guys next, which will allow you to roll up your Rainfly door once it's deployed. So I've got both zippers here. Let's get this installed. So now you can see that we've got our Rainfly installed or draped over our tent. So what we have on each corner of the Rainfly is these straps here, and they all have this loop at the end. And this will, again, be used with the stakes that are included to be able to attach to the ground or to a tree or anything else that's surrounding you to be able to just create some tension here so that this thing is deflecting water as best as it can if it does rain. Now, a lot of questions we get with these tents in general: why do we include a Rainfly? Is the tent not waterproof? The tent is definitely waterproof, but to the degree in which you have a monsoon style storm versus some light rain, it's gonna make a big difference. And so we always tell people without fault that you need to put your Rainfly on if you have any kind of inkling that you might get rain, whether that's in the day or at night. So always put your Rainfly on no matter what. If you think it's gonna rain, I would definitely include this. Now, if it is gonna be like a light rain that's coming through, not a big deal. You're not gonna get water in your tent. Again, remember to have your tri-layer walls on. They're 100% waterproof. If it's gonna rain for a couple of hours, you're fine. But if you're gonna get downpour over the course of 6 to 7 hours, it really depends on your situation. So when in doubt, throw this guy on here and you'll be completely protected. Another thing we get questions on is why the half Rainfly? Why not go all the way to the ground? The big reasoning for this is to allow for ventilation. So you will have the ability to stake this guy out away from your tent enough to where you won't have any water splashing back into the bottom here when these doors are off, or I'm sorry, these walls are off. So you really want ventilation because, as you know, we usually get these rainstorms in the summertime and it's hot. You want ventilation, you want to be able to air this thing out, and so that's why we do the half Rainfly and provide the walls as a secondary option. And then last thing on this Rainfly is the door aspect of this. So we have two zippers here that will zip up, and they will zip up out of your way so that you can still enter your tent unobstructed. And we also provided 3 attachment points here so that you can roll this up and be completely free from obstruction getting in and out of your tent. And you can roll up one side and let the other side hang. It's really up to you. A lot of people will roll up both sides so that you have access to this window, which we'll talk about later. All right, so let's talk about some of the interior features and things to set up once you're inside of your Hub 6 XL. So you'll have a light that is included. This is a dimmable LED light strip. And there's a piece of Velcro here at the very back of the tent that you will adhere this to. Secondarily, you have a piece of Velcro strip at the front of the tent as well. So if you want to install this at the front, you can totally do that near the door. It really just depends on your use case and what you're using this dimmable light for. So again, this is our dimmable LED, similar to what we have in our rooftop tents. It's got your USB plug-in, so it'll work with any kind of battery bank. These come with one LED light. If you do want a second light, you can purchase a second one off of our website. And then just above this, the LED light here, you'll notice this zipper. This is your stovepipe, or your stovepipe access. So if you need to run heat in here with a stove, or if you're just cooking, this is where you can run your stovepipe. Just remember, on the outside of the tent, you'll have to Velcro that off. And we also provided a loop here to be able to store this material up and out of the way so it's not hanging down. And then at the rear of the tent, on either side of your LED light strip, you'll notice these 2 hooks. There's one here, and then there's one on this other side here. And what these are for is if you need to hang a lantern, or if you need to hang some string lights or a speaker, these can be utilized for just that. Which brings me to the next part of the tent, and that is the storage that's available in here. So if you notice over here, we have this netting that's hanging down. And similarly on the other side, there's another net that's hanging down with these 3 hooks. And what this is for is you can secure it up top. And what this will do is provide any kind of off-ground storage you need for clothing, lights, anything that you need access to that's off of the ground. We provide easy access to those items. We have this weatherproof and waterproof storage pocket here. Again, this has your PVC material here to keep any water or dust or any of the elements out. So if you need to keep valuables in here, your cell phone, watch, wallet, you name it, if you need easy access to something and you want to remember where you put it, which I know I'm guilty of that, you can store it in here, just a zipper pocket. You can fill whatever you need and it's secure and you're aware of where it's at. Another feature on the inside of this tent is our integrated window. And what this is essentially still has your PVC cover here so that you're not getting any water in here. The reason we provide this is because once you have all the walls on this thing, it's dark. It's really, really dark in here. So if you need either just letting light in, or if you just want to be able to look out for whatever reason, that is here. Or if you just need this out of the way and you're not even concerned about it, you can just close that up with the 2 Velcro sticks there on each end. So now that we've walked through the setup and getting the inside set up for how you need it, showing you all the features, we're gonna show you how to pack this thing down. So as you guessed it, we're doing everything in reverse. So we'll get started with that. But first, you wanna make sure to remove your floor. A floor that is inside of this thing won't pack up very well if you have it still Velcroed around, as you can imagine. So make sure to pull out your floor first, wipe it down, take care of it. Make sure that it has any dirt, moisture, things like that removed if you're storing it away for a long time. Again, if you take care of these products, they'll take care of you. Now that we've got our floor removed from our Hub 6XL, we're gonna make sure to remove our poles before we do anything else. Once we remove these, we'll be ready to completely take down our Hub 6XL. Now that we have all of our poles removed from our Hub 6XL, we'll start collapsing our walls. So I'll start on the inside and I'll do the roof first. And this will really help with simplicity of pushing my walls in from the outside. And you'll notice you lose a lot of structure pretty quickly. Additionally, what I like to do is zip my door up for 50 to 75% of the length here so that we can avoid, when we set it back up, having any other material get stuck in this door or any of the legs get stuck in the door. It helps streamline setup next time. We'll just start pushing in all of our walls. Just pushing them towards the center, and it'll naturally start to fall into place. And that's it. Your Hub 6XL is broken down and ready to get wrapped up and put in our bag. All right, so we've got our Hub 6XL broken down here. We've got our bag. What we're gonna do is, our goal is to get this end into the side of our bag that has no zipper on the end. So basically this zipper stops here, and we'll wanna get it in here, and that will just help with packing material in later. But first, we're gonna take the provided strap, wrap it around this guy so that it's contained and we don't have material falling all over the place. So what I like to do here is just kind of bear hug it, get underneath, and get your strap around the bulk of the material and pull this tight. Now again, this will feel a little skinnier than before because we took all of the walls off. And so when we pack this back down, we'll have a little bit more flexibility in terms of where we can put material once it's in the bag. Situate this so the material falls flat inside. Once we've got everything in position, we'll start grabbing our walls, our floor, and our Rainfly, and all of our stakes. All right, so I'd start with my walls first. You can fold them however you like, and I would just get them situated here on this end of the bag so that we're taking up this space and using it as is. We got the rest of our stuff situated and ready to put back into our Hub 6XL bag. So we'll get that packed away and be ready to hit the road. So that just about wraps up Hub 6XL setup, features, tear down, everything you need to know. Just a reminder, this is our largest tent. This is 164 inches by 164 inches on the floor. And so that measures out about 13.5 feet by 13.5 feet. One last consideration you want to think about when purchasing a tent of this size is the size of the bag. So this bag measures out about 73 inches long. And so if you have a mid to large size SUV, or if you've got a 6.5 foot truck bed, this is perfect and it'll fit in both of those applications just fine. Now, if you've got a smaller sedan or a smaller SUV, if you have fold down seats, you might be able to make something work, but just keep in mind, this is a large bag. So if you have other people with you, consider that as well. So this is Hub 6XL. It's our largest tent. It definitely can accommodate the most amount of people, whether you're sleeping in it for camping, whether you're hunting in it, whether you're cooking in it with a group of friends, any use case, this tent is really, it checks all the boxes. So check this tent out if you haven't already, and we'll see you in the next one.